This is Coach Chris, and another episode of Jiu-Jitsu Therapy. Started laughing going into the episode. Everybody's cutting up. But anyway, welcome to this episode of Jiu-Jitsu Therapy with Chris Mize. I am Coach Chris Mize, avid Jiu-Jitsu player. So here with me today in the studio. Again, we're in the midst of the Corona siege. So we have family in from out of town. So we've got my future son-in-law. We'll call him G to keep him safe. We'll just call him by G. My son Nathan is here. Coach Michael McGrath is here down on the end.
Hello.
That's actually, we have a button that just says that.
He's so engaged.
He's so engaged. That's right. Also, my daughter Molly is here.
Howdy.
That's a good Southern response. Yeah. And running the board is Coach Chris Bowen. Thank you, Coach Chris.
Always happy to be here.
All right. We're glad that you're doing your thing. So, guys, everybody's been home for a little while, and hopefully, at least gotten over the thought of wanting to kill each other. Or maybe it's coming back. It probably comes in waves.
I've seen some great Instagram videos, by the way. There was one.
I saw one of those.
It was hilarious. Where a couple, first day, oh, love you. Second day, and then by the fourth day, ready to kill each other.
Oh yeah, no toilet paper. That was the toilet paper thing. But guys, since everybody's been binging on different things, we wanted to take a little bit, maybe make some suggestions for you. I don't know where this will end up going, but it seemed like a good topic of choice. So we want to see, since we're a martial arts podcast, talk about martial arts movies. And I guess we could probably just include action movies as well, because they have a lot of martial arts in them. I don't think there's a martial arts movie really, just unless it's maybe Ip Man or something like that.
Ong Bak.
Ong Bak, well, that's true. Those are probably, but that's 10 years old now, isn't it?
Yeah, but still,
it was a
martial arts movie. It was about Thai boxing.
Probably The Raid.
Yeah,
The Raid would be that too. But anyway, sorry to get off subject. But yeah, so action martial arts. See, back in the day, when I was a young man, and then of course, Coach Michael, Coach Chris, they're younger than me, but. He says, Coach Michael said, yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it.
There was a few choices, which Bruce Lee didn't make that many movies. Mm-mm. Chuck Norris made a lot of movies in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, he did. And then,
Chuck.
That's right. And then, you're getting a note addendum on that one. Yeah. But we used to all watch action theater also, which, on Saturdays.
Well, I've mentioned on my show many times is and you'll hear me reference it a lot because it was part of my youth, my childhood is Channel 21, WTTO. I even know their call sign had Kung Fu Theater on Sundays
all day,
and I'd get high and on model airplane glue because I was only in fourth grade. I was preempting to my teenage years, but I didn't understand the value of opening a window while doing models in tight enclosure, and so I would put models together and watch Kung Fu Theater, and
man, this is some good shit.
This is getting high watching Kung Fu Theater will motivate you to be a killer. You.
Well, go ahead and talk about that stuff. I don't want to not talk about the hand conditioning.
Well, the hand, that's we've talked about this on many shows, but it's so much fun to talk
about. It, so
you haven't? So okay, so I've talked about it on many times on my show. But Kung Fu Theater, and I believe it was Five Fingers of Death, if I'm not mistaken. But they would come on, and I can't believe, thinking back now, that they would play this on. This was, it wasn't over cable; it was over regular antenna. But these guys would condition their hands. And they would poke wood, with their fingers, and their martial arts, their kung fu is they would go and they would stab you with their fingers. I mean, down to the kill, and you just see all this fake blood coming out, and they just
shoot
pull
out
it
their
out.
mouth.
Yeah, shoot out their mouth. And that was always fascinating because you poke a guy in his heart, and then blood comes spewing out of his mouth like that would really happen. And and so I would go again, after that was over, watch a little bit of that. I would go outside because parents always encourage young people to go outside and get the hell out of the house. So I would go outside and I would poke the 4x4 post on the porch and develop some really strong poke fingers. Okay? I like to. And I utilize them to this day with my wife, which she does not appreciate at all. And so it's like poke her in the chest or in the shoulder, just to get her
attention. That's
yeah,
right.
get her dander up a little bit. So that's how I like to aggravate.
Sounds healthy.
Yeah, it does.
Well, that's interesting. I think, and we'll have to get Coach Michael's point of view on it. But I, like you, also watched, like I said, the action theater. And we were all affected by that in some way. I don't think I went out necessarily and poked, trees with my hands, but I did go out and punch the trees. Oh, so I remember that actively. I would go out and punch the tree. Maybe not so hard, but you want to act like you were doing the kung fu stuff.
I wonder how many people broke their leg after Kickboxer when he, when Kickboxer Jean-Claude Van Damme would go out there and kick those damn bamboo or something, and he'd break them down.
They used to kick the banana trees is what they would do.
Okay, but I wonder how many people broke. I wonder how many little idiots broke their legs on going out there trying to kick small.
Probably.
That makes you tough, though. Makes you tough. May not break your leg. You didn't do it. Probably if you didn't go at it as hard as you could, it'd probably be all right.
Yeah.
So what was the British version of action theater? When did you watch it?
How many episodes are we in now on Jiu-Jitsu therapy?
In the teens.
Yeah.
Thank fuck for that. We've established I'm British. I mean, I've been Australian the whole fucking time.
Sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Brandon, if you're watching.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or Bradley.
Bradley.
Call me Outback Mike.
I don't think that's going to change.
As far as what martial arts went in 70s, because I was born in 70 and 80s. Mm-hmm. The only martial arts, does Kojak apply there?
I'm just talking specifically about action theater. I want to know, did y'all have it? Did it come on Saturday in
No,
UK?
fuck no. The only thing I saw was Carl Douglas doing kung fu fighting. That's it. There was nothing like that. Everything was banned.
Really?
Banned?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. Anything that was remotely violent like that was banned when I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, they think that, but wasn't Britain was huge with judo and stuff like that? Was it not?
It was, but it was like only in the, I would say, early to mid 80s that you started to see martial arts. I mean, everybody knew who Bruce Lee was and whatnot, but no, it was on TV. Things like that were banned. I mean, it was you couldn't see anything like that.
Only Michael McGrath, when asked about a martial arts program on TV, he would bring up Kojak. Hey, who loves you, baby?
Yeah, he loves you, baby. That's right.
No, I mean, everybody had if you wanted to watch Bruce Lee, you had to go and find somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and then, they had a bootleg version of the Big Boss or whatever.
Wow.
That's cool. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool story. They're cool. That was sorry.
And then when, when they started doing, when VHS came out, I think then things started to come out, really. You couldn't even get the UFC until the 90s. Mid 90s, yeah. I mean, it was, and you could not get it. I mean, they let it out in the video stores, and then that's it. They quit. That was it. It got banned, and you weren't allowed to get it.
Huh. That is fascinating. Yeah. I would have never thought that because, and unless I've been told wrong, y'all had way more lax on certain content, especially when it came to commercials and advertising and stuff like that, right? Or
a little bit, but. No, I mean, horror movies, things like that. I mean, they were really, really, toned down.
Wow.
So, I don't know what the reason was.
Well, I know y'all had a different rating system, of movies, and it was broken down into, it was more of a PG-13-ish kind of thing before there was PG-13 and stuff like that.
And X-rated, you couldn't watch anything X-rated until you were 18. So, and that would be anything with violence in, basically, or any kind of soft porn.
Man.
Yeah.
All those Hammer movies, horror
the Hammer House of Horror.
Yeah.
I used to be able to see that on network.
Oh, okay.
On TV, but they were, I mean, they weren't really that great. I mean, I saw one that was pretty good. I saw a woman's breast in that one. I was
go.
like, yeah, that was
That was
pretty
just bad,
exciting.
that was bad editing. That was bad editing. Somebody lost their job over that shit. That's right. What?
But,
Can't believe
no,
it.
I mean we led pretty sheltered lives, and TV used to be shut off at midnight.
Mm.
It was. I mean, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I live
I
in a
didn't-
communist country now.
I didn't realize how much of a wild, wild west life I lived as a kid.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Commando was an X-rated. You couldn't see that unless you was 18.
Wow.
Commando?
Yeah.
Really?
Arnold
Which is, by the way, is a
Schwarzenegger?
great
Are
one,
you
by the way.
serious?
Yeah.
With the steam pipe through his chest
Yeah,
and
That's
everything?
right. That's
Oh
right.
my God.
You're hacking guys' arms off the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
You had
awesome.
to be 18 to see that.
Wow. So, guys, you need to watch Commando. That's
Commando's
one to add to the list.
I don't know if that
I
was
enjoy it. No, but
I don't
listen,
know if, yeah, that's true.
it
It's
needs to
action.
be added.
It needs to be. I mean, he did. a good
Arnold
job.
doing a couple of things. He does a couple of jujitsu. He does the arm wrap. We still call it the Arnold Schwarzenegger now. The over from the shoulder grab from the rear. He does the wraps the arm. That's in Commando, and then he palms the dude in the face.
Well, two movies I think about when you think about a true martial arts movie is Kickboxer and The Quest, both with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Very similar premises, but you know The Quest was set.
Not
when-
to be confused with the club downtown.
That's right. They're doing a lot of social distancing down there. But The Quest was probably, and it's just like Bloodsport. Quest and Bloodsport maybe is really better tied together than Kickboxer. But you know, those were the whole premise of the movie was in a martial arts
Right.
event.
Realm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's
Like
complete-
Karate Kid.
Yeah. And
Something like that.
yeah, well, that's Karate Kid was another one. Karate Kid almost fell into the coming of age movie though too, as far as dealing with girlfriends and boyfriends and bullying and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
true martial arts movie, I'd say Bloodsport and The Quest would probably be true. Nothing but it's completely wrapped around this.
So what you're saying is Van Damme he played such a big part in that. We all know he played a big part in the genre because there's we could probably do a Mount Rushmore of action heroes.
That's right.
Action heroes from the 70s and 80s. But so he was in Kickboxer. You've named all those. Bloodsport, Kickboxer, The Quest, which he produced.
And there was another movie he was a bad guy in when he first got started. He had
Oh
real
yeah,
slick back hair.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
No Retreat, No Surrender. Yeah.
It was the Russian, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Russian. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. He was a bad guy in that one.
And then he was bad guy in
Followed by
Expendables.
Black Eagle with
Black-
Sho Kosugi.
Yeah.
That came on. That was like his second movie that he did right after.
What
No
about
Retreat,
that one with Michael Douglas, Black Rain?
Oh,
No
that
Surrender.
was pretty
That's a
good.
Ridley Scott. That's a Ridley Scott movie. That is not a low budget flick.
Yeah.
I watched
When he
a
cut his
documentary on
fingers
that.
off, when he cut that dude's fingers off for
that's
being
badass.
for not doing
That
it.
guy, the guy that played the bad guy in that, he died of cancer a year later.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was the last movie that guy was in.
Oh man,
So,
what a bunch of
no,
martial-
but that was an awesome movie.
that was a good movie.
That was an awesome movie. There's really a
I
lot.
call bullshit on the motorcycle race in the beginning, but that's beside the point. That's just 'cause I'm a motorcycle guy.
That whole thing was filmed in California.
Well, except for the opening scene, right?
Right. Yeah, that was majority, like all the stuff,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the vineyard
All the
stuff
vineyard
at the
stuff,
end,
yeah.
and all the stuff in the city. That was all filmed in California. They found a place that they did because they ran into trouble with the Japanese crew. I won't say all of it. They pulled out the Japanese crew were giving them trouble, so they went back to California and filmed a lot of it.
That's cool.
But it was interesting. But no, that is a very good movie. That is a very good movie. But Van Damme definitely had a big piece of all of our martial arts history stuff. You know, we were probably all exposed, like say, action theater first, Chuck Norris.
Well, I remember on USA Up All Night they would play stuff like. I remember my first real realm into ninjas was American Ninja.
Oh yeah.
That was
Well, Enter the Ninja was my first thing with ninjas. I mean, you only live twice.
Oh,
You only live twice. Which, by the way, has some of the best fight choreography at that time for martial artsy kind of stuff. I mean, it had ninjas in it, but there's a great scene that sticks out in my mind where Sean Connery fights the sumo wrestler in the office, and it's just great. I mean, they had the guy that did the choreography in that. I can't remember. He was a Marine guy that they brought in that actually knew how to. But it had so much good stuff. He fights with this sumo guy, and obviously he comes at him with a statue and he flips over the top of him and stuff. But the choreography, that's awesome. I just remember that super well. You Only Live Twice.
We Only Live Twice. That was a good one. Let's see. And then, of course, whether people want to admit it or not, they were hooked into the Steven Seagal movies. You know, Hard to Kill,
Out for
Mark,
Justice.
Mark for Death.
Yeah, they're my three favorites.
I always say the joke about Steven Seagal movies, they're all 3-word titles.
I didn't ever think about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Maybe like there's
Well,
maybe 2 of them that aren't.
Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Yeah,
That's the only
2.
one.
Yeah, but like
Keeping it
majority are 3-word titles.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah. Erica
Was that
Laniak. I remember her.
Keeping it simple. Was that
Keeping it simple. That's a comedy starring Steven Seagal and John Lovitz for Netflix. It's
That Mark for Death was pretty damn good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, man. Goes back into our coronavirus thing we were laughing about earlier. Is everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want to die.
Screwface. That's what you do. The
Yeah.
screw. I've always forget the bad guy. Screwface. I won't ruin it.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Or when he marked Steven Seagal's sister with the chicken foot. You know,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
belly
Now,
button.
yes, he goes,
Yeah.
now you belong to me, pretty.
Wow. You must have had like the
Oh, I had-
dubbed.
Oh, I did. I watched a lot.
You can-
When I watch things and I like it, I watch it
yeah.
many times.
Oh,
over.
Dude, the fight scenes in that were just killer. I mean,
Yeah.
they were so. I will say because, and I'll ask both you guys because I mean, it's when you think about the first time you saw Above the Law,
Mhm.
it was like it was the equivalent of John Wick.
That's right. Three words out.
Yeah,
Three
it
words.
was, right? It was the equivalent for the time.
It
the equivalent
was.
of John Wick
It
because
was.
he was doing shit in that movie that nobody had ever seen.
He must have had a patent on the arm brake
Oh,
dummy.
yeah.
They must have because they use that so much. He must have had a patent on that
Right.
damn device to make it
And
like
so
a breaking arm.
If you have never seen Above the Law, it holds up. Really,
does, it does.
really holds up. It's really Steven Seagal's finest role.
Except for his running.
His running.
His
You know, he runs in Above the Law, but it doesn't look as bad. In
Yeah.
Hard to Kill, it looks bad.
It does.
Of course, he had been in a coma for
Yeah.
10 years.
He had a nice beard in that as well, didn't he?
Oh, he looked like Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
You know, for that. Kelly LeBrock, his second or third wife at that time.
Yeah.
She was from Weird Science.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if they were married then, but they married soon after.
Yeah. Until he started beating on her, and then allegedly.
Hearsay.
Allegedly.
Hearsay. So, but yeah, I mean, thinking about what were your thoughts? Not to hang up on Seagal, but to me, when you look at things, I mean, again, it was kind of the John Wick of its time. What were your thoughts when you watched Above the Law?
That's on the arm break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was it Henry Silva?
Yeah.
He breaks the guy's arm.
But he did that in a couple, didn't he? He
Yeah.
broke
Oh,
the
sure.
elbow on one. It was always
I'm
it
just-
was always the one just like on our I think it's white to blue.
That one was this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
hung
but
up. I'm hung up on Out for Justice because I remember that was the first movie where I saw somebody smoking crack. You know, dude, I know. It's
I didn't
like,
think about it.
yeah, I mean, I was like,
yeah.
Well, that was
I-
rougher.
If I smoke some crack, I'm gonna be really more crazy than I am, and I don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
You get loads of money, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy,
Yeah.
William Forsythe.
that's right.
Was the guy-
he was fantastic.
He really
a
was.
real like.
Man, those guys were loathsome, just
Yeah.
horrible individuals in that movie.
Yeah.
That was a step up for Seagal. When I say a step up, it may be a step down. The quality, I mean, the violence and the
Yeah.
language
Mhm.
were at a peak. I mean, it went from Seagal was like an action hero with violence, and it had a little bit of nudity in it, and it's like Out for Justice.
Had a badass Grand National in it. Remember they were running the streets?
Oh,
I mean, the
Well,
bad
pay
guys were
attention to
racing.
different things.
Yeah, pay
But,
attention to different things.
but yeah, so what part of the crack is that what sticks out for us? Out for Justice?
The crack.
What else?
Well, it was-
bar scene.
Well, it was
Oh,
probably
the
the first.
Santo Guru dancing that.
Yeah, it was probably the first time that I can remember that drugs were really pushed to the forefront like that, that kind of.
And really bad.
That kind of
Yeah,
drugs.
drugs, prostitution.
Yeah.
I was driving along, looking
Oh, yeah.
at and
Oh,
a
the-
prostitute comes to the window.
Mhm.
I just want to fuck.
Well, it's not, which on Mike Tyson's recent show that he was on, he said that was true. He was talking because Mike Tyson grew up in New York,
Right.
and he talked about that here recently. About a week ago, I was listening to one of the shows that he was on, and he said he would ride his motorcycle down there just to watch, and he said it was that level at that time in New York that they would all go down and watch these prostitutes a certain section, and he said, and there was cops would be across the street wouldn't even be saying that because it was just so rampant that they couldn't do anything about it. So it was probably as pretty damn true to life as they could make it for that movie.
Well, definitely the action. There was a lot more. I mean, he beat some people up, but his signature style wasn't as pronounced as it was. He did a lot of kung fu stuff and Wing Chun Stone and Hard to Kill.
Yeah. Who's the boxer in here? Who's the boxer? You the boxer?
Oh man, that whole scene inside that bar where he goes up there and he harasses the bartender. Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
He does the vertical blast on it or something.
That scene really ruined it for a lot of bar owners because now we had a fight, probably a while back, but that was the first thing everybody started doing when the fight broke out in the pool hall section. Everybody started pushing the balls into the holes because people will pick them up and smash people in the face with them now.
Oh.
So, damn Steven Seagal, why'd you have to tell everybody in on that? But they do. So.
Wow. He wrapped it in a towel.
A little bar towel.
That's right, he did.
Yeah, wrapped it in a little thin cheesecloth bar towel.
He looked really good with the beret on as well, didn't he?
Jesus Christ. I never really got that. I guess he was supposed to be like a guardian angel.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember those. Remember those guys? That would,
they're still around. But I mean, the beret. You got to be a badass almost to pull that off.
That's right. That's why the Army gave them to everybody now. Up their street credit.
You got to be a badass to wear a beret, that's for sure.
That's hilarious.
Especially on the streets of New York.
What about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? For the kids.
Are we getting into animated stuff now?
We can. What you into?
We looked it up before we started. If you look up martial arts movies on Google, Kung Fu Panda is one of the first
Probably
movies
one of the greatest martial arts movies ever made. You had the whole story. You had
an all-star cast.
You had an all-star cast. You had it from, if you want to be an instructor, you teaching them from being humble all the way up to where they don't realize what they've learned, and then the epiphany happens, and then they start doing great technique, and they have confidence in themselves. The whole thing. Great movie.
Yep.
Wow. Great analogy.
Well,
that was strong.
And just because the other person is bigger and stronger doesn't mean they're better.
Nice.
There you go.
And by the way, Coach Chris hates working with kids. So.
That's right.
So just want to throw that out there if anybody had forgotten that. Just want to say.
Leave your kids at home.
As I've said before, he doesn't like to do it. He just does a damn good job at it, and I hate it when that happens.
It's a weird begrudging.
It is. It's a curse. Somebody has to inflict somebody.
Yeah.
So guys, we haven't talked about. Of course, Coach Chris, we know what his big. The Van Damme ones.
Van Damme's. I think they do.
And I mean, we'll take John Wick off the table for right now because it's too modern. It's very good because
it's still probably it's not over the top yet. You know, the 1 and 2. I haven't really got to see 3 yet.
It's over the top.
But 1 and 2, one and 2, especially 1, will probably go down as one of the greats.
Right. I agree.
Not just for the martial arts aspect of it, but just it was a pretty good ride. You know, it's a good movie to watch, and even if you're not a martial artist per se, it's still a good. If you like anything that's got action in it, it's got a good storyline. You can even convince your significant other that it's a love story, so you can.
A man and his dog.
Yeah,
but
left to him by his deceased wife. So
that's true.
It's a love story.
That's true. Interesting. It's a lot of facets to that one. So, but Molly, what would you say was when you think of that genre movie? We'll go around the room, guys. So just be ready.
Well, I might steal some people's, but
I'll take it.
Well, I was you first. So.
I was thinking about it and. Like the first big, I watched a lot of them with Dad growing up, and I was as we're just talking about stuff, I was thinking the other day we thought about the channel that no longer exists, G4. They would show a lot of the old movies, as well as like the original Ninja Warrior was on there, and it doesn't exist anymore, but they had a lot of good stuff on there. But I always think of Kill Bill 1 and 2. Those were that was like. I guess maybe my first conscious like this is a martial arts movie, and it.
I'm waiting on those posters, by the way. I'm getting those. I'm hoping to have those up in here.
Yeah, because I love a lot of the Tarantino movies. And also it's like it has a female lead, and it's got a lot of really good action stuff with like all sword fighting, like hand-to-hand combat as well, and like it's just well-rounded. I like the story
He wasn't
too.
necessarily ahead of his time because there's been other females in martial arts movies, but he really did do a great job in Kill Bill of letting the ladies fight it out.
Yeah.
And not, before that it's usually some girl kicking some guy's ass, empowering. But to let a couple of girls fight it out.
A lot of that.
Well, like it was a female lead, and also the main bad guy, quote unquote, was also a woman. So
The main
yeah,
one anyway, because you didn't meet Bill.
yeah. Well, in the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was,
Really good.
Yeah, he did a really good job with that.
The thing I found interesting was he filmed all that at once.
Yeah,
and then put it, and then put
Split
it all
it up.
together, edited it in that way to where it was. I don't even know necessarily if he intended on it being two movies to begin with. You never know. But
Yeah.
But
Just keep filming until you run out.
that's interesting. That's interesting. Gage, what about you?
I didn't really grow up in a martial arts background.
Uh-huh.
The only martial arts movie I think on my DVD shelf is probably Man with the Iron Fist.
There you go.
Oh well, that's
But if like pretty much the only thing I think I really grew up, of course, like he was like Chris was saying earlier, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I was watching. There's another Japanese anime that I watched called Fist of the North Star.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Always a fun one. Probably not for the kids so much, even though it's cartoony.
Sometimes that happens.
That's right.
There was another. Again looking things up earlier. Kung Fury, which was just this ridiculous. It's live action, but a lot of it's edited to appear like an anime, and it's got some fight scenes in it too. It's just crazy. It was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it is findable anymore, but it was entertaining.
That's a cute movie. Nathan, how about you?
I don't really watch martial arts movies that much, but I think Kill Bill is probably the first one I'd go to.
Right. I know you were forced to watch that a good bit.
Great soundtrack on that movie.
Oh my gosh,
That is.
Phenomenal
soundtrack
soundtrack.
ridiculous.
Very good.
Ridiculous
Both
soundtrack.
movies, 1 and 2.
Right. And we were just discussing it the other night, and I don't think we even knew that we were going to be talking about this on the podcast. We were just talking about 1 and 2, and talking about how 1 is more of a true martial artsy movie, and number 2 is more of a westerny type movie. So I mean, but yeah, that's as far as quality wise and production value, you would have to say that would definitely be up there. So let's do this. We'll just buzz around the room. I'll go with Coach and me. When you guys, I think you say what you, Michael. What would you? I'll go first, just so you guys can be thinking. Very best one. If you were going to make a recommendation on somebody, one that is your favorite to watch, what would it be? I'll go first.
Go first.
Because it's going to be weird. Because it's going to be Red Belt, which I catch a lot of shit about that because people say, "Oh, it's no good. It's not a good martial arts movie." Brad. Anyway, so Brad's like, "Man, that's just not a good martial arts movie." I'm like, "Dude, it's got awesome people in it. The martial arts, the choreography in it's good, and it's a warrior. It's like a modern day samurai tale with a little bit of things."
It is. I think there was a few aspects that they could have done better. But the only reason I say that because it doesn't. It's such a recent movie in the last 10 years or something like
Well,
that.
maybe 15 now. I'm not sure,
Is it
but yeah,
15
close
years?
to it.
That it still doesn't resonate in your brain. So there was something missing in that movie.
Well, a star for one thing. It didn't really
Well,
have
I thought
a star.
the guy did a good
Oh, he did a
job.
good job, but he wasn't anybody.
But-
He's been in a lot of stuff since then. I think.
but maybe that's what it is. Just for whatever reason, it doesn't lock into your brain. There's no sensationalism, but as far as the fight stuff goes, it was a good movie. It was. I would call that one of my good Sunday afternoon movies when you kind of winding down.
Yeah, to me, it's just I think you have to be in the right mood for it. So it's not just a chopsocky kind of movie, but it was good. And I would say across the board, if you haven't seen Choke, the documentary, I know it's not a movie, but Choke was about Hickson and the the Japan Valley Tudo tournament. If you haven't watched that, it's on YouTube. You need to watch that. If you're a jiu-jitsu person, I'm sure you may have watched it. If not, turn it on and let your family watch it because it's entertaining enough. People will watch it that aren't even martial arts people. It might turn them into jiu-jitsu a little bit or turn on to jiu-jitsu. So, Coach.
I'll let Mike go next. I'm going to have some honorable mentions.
Thank you. Which Brad was that?
Oh,
Call him out.
No, it's not that Brad.
Oh, none of the two Brads that we know. Not Dr. Brad or Steamroller Cunt Brad.
No.
I don't know if I'm
Hey, there's only names for the t-shirt shop.
That's
So,
right.
no, either one of those
I was
guys.
going to go with that no retreat, no surrender, but then it came in my head with the best of the best.
Oh, how could I forget?
I got that on my list. That was I was the best of the best.
No, Tommy, don't do it.
Yeah.
That was
No, don't do it.
I don't know why I liked him so much when he was younger. He played in he played in a lot of great movies, and he was such an his voice was such an. But I thought they did a fair job for Taekwondo.
I like
Oh yeah, it was great. It had James Earl Jones in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which definitely added to it. It had Chris Penn in it. Had a bunch, but I mean, some of my favorite movies, some of my favorite lines come from that.
So I'm going to go with that one.
That's a good one. We got a young fella at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Birmingham. We have several people that are Korean and that actually moved here last year, right before last year. So they're actually from Korea. And so one of the young guys that comes and trains with us, his name is actually Taehan.
Really?
So yeah, so we kind of have a joke with that. He doesn't get it.
He doesn't
But anyway, so did you leave your patch at home? Anyway, so Taehan's the bad guy and best of the best. And by the way, guys, if you haven't seen best of the best, you need to watch Best of the Best.
Yeah, I think they tried to make some sequels that messed it up, but it goes to the original.
Hey, and I'm talking about. Listen, guys, you don't have to watch any of this stuff. Seriously, we can watch anything and make fun of it.
You have to watch it all.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I mean, make fun of it. There's going to be some funny lines in it for sure. I mean, just to make fun of, especially for the time. It's very dated, but that's a good one, Coach. Okay.
God, it's hard for me to pick a best, but I will say, and we talked about it a while ago, I think The Quest and Bloodsport were good for me because I was a kid and I enjoyed them so much, and I think I just thought they did a good job. There's a couple of other honorable mentions. Only the Strong was a kind of a B movie, Capoeira movie.
Mark Dacascos.
Yeah.
Chef America.
And then if you want a good funny, what I thought was funny, The Last Dragon.
Oh.
The Last Dragon. Who's the master? Shown up. If you want to watch a movie that is fun to watch, if you're not necessarily a martial arts person,
it was fun for us anyway.
It was fun. God, it was so fun. He come in, and I can't remember the guy's name. I know the tall guy that played the Shogun. He come in wearing these shoulder pads and these crazy. Shown up. But and he had the '80s glasses that didn't have lenses. They had the louvers in them, and he'd be like, "Who is the master?"
That's right.
I am.
Right. It was cool.
So that was a lot of fun.
We saw a picture from one of the cons, the Comic-Con. Somebody had dressed as Shonuff.
Oh man, it was awesome.
I think I had shared it on my Facebook. Somebody had posted a thing on there. That was amazing. They had a great soundtrack too. DeBarge was in that.
Yeah, that was good. But I couldn't leave that one out.
That was a good one. I mean, there's really a lot more. I mean, I think Barry Gordy produced that too. I think so that's why the soundtrack was probably so good. But yeah, man, that's cool. I mean, that's.
And there's so many we haven't mentioned that people are probably screaming at their radio right now.
Comment on it and see. But yeah, I think those are all really good. It makes me want to look at some of those after I watch Tiger King. Which is not a martial arts movie.
It's not a martial arts movie, but woo! Yeah. If you got nothing else to do in life, do that.
That's right. Well, that's on our list. But anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this. And Got some things you might want to look some stuff up. Heck, you can, if you put any of those things in YouTube, you can probably find clips of the best parts of it anyway. If you don't watch the whole movie.
And make sure you comment on YouTube on this channel and let us know what you think your favorite go-to is, and so we can compare notes. I'm sure we're missing a great movie in there.
I'm sure we are too. I mean, we really didn't talk about any of Chuck Norris's movies.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but we'll maybe next time.
Yeah.
We'll hit on it again. We'll see what our feedback is. But anyway, guys, well, thanks for tuning in. And again, everybody stay safe, stay chilled out, help your neighbor. And until the next episode of Jiu Jitsu Therapy, talk to you later.